Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, and today we are diving straight into the kind of hidden treasure that could be sitting in your pocket right now. Imagine finding a simple 1-cent coin that turns out to be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. That's exactly what we're exploring today. Two Lincoln pennies that look ordinary at first glance, but carry extraordinary stories, rare variations, and surprising value in the collector's world. These are the coins that spark excitement at coin shows, ignite bidding wars online, and make collectors double-check every penny they come across. So stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you might never look at a penny the same way again. 1960 D. Lincoln Penny 1-cent coin. The 1960 D. Lincoln penny is one of those coins that proves how small details can create massive differences in value. At first glance, it looks like any other copper cent minted in the early 1960s, struck at the Denver Mint, and featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This portrait, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, had already become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage by 1960. On the reverse, you'll find the classic wheat ears design was already replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial, marking a new era in the series. Now, here's where things get interesting. The 1960 D. Lincoln penny exists in two major varieties, and the difference lies in the date itself. There is a small date and a large date version, and for collectors, this distinction is everything. The small date variety is significantly rarer, especially in high grades, and that's what drives its value. The small date version features a noticeably tighter, more compact appearance in the numbers. The 6 and 9 appear more level, and the overall spacing is slightly different compared to the large date. In contrast, the large date version has a more spread out look, with the 6 appearing higher than the 9, giving it a distinct visual imbalance. From a historical standpoint, the existence of these two varieties likely stems from changes in die preparation during production. The U.S. Mint was producing massive quantities of coins to meet circulation demand, and slight design adjustments during the process resulted in these variations. Speaking of production, the 1960 D. penny had an enormous mintage of over 1.5 billion coins. That number alone might make you think this coin is extremely common, and in many ways, it is. However, rarity in coin collecting isn't just about how many were made, but how many survive in pristine condition and how many belong to a specific variety. The small date variety is far less common, particularly in uncirculated grades. Coins that have never been used in everyday transactions, retaining their original mint luster, are the ones collectors chase. And when you combine that with the small date variety, you get a coin that can command impressive prices. In terms of errors, the 1960 D. penny is also known for die clashes, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. These minting anomalies add another layer of intrigue and value. A well-preserved error coin from this year can easily sell for significantly more than a standard example. When we talk about market value, the difference between the large date and small date becomes crystal clear. A typical circulated large date 1960 D. penny might only be worth a few cents above face value. Even in uncirculated condition, it usually remains relatively affordable, often in the range of a few dollars. But the small date version tells a completely different story. In lower grades, it might still be modestly priced, but once you move into higher mint state grades, especially MS65 and above, the value begins to climb rapidly. Exceptional examples with strong strike quality and full red coloration can reach into the hundreds of dollars. In some cases, top-tier specimens graded at the highest levels have sold for even more, particularly when demand is strong among collectors. Collector interest in the 1960 D. small date penny remains consistently high. It's considered a key variety within the Lincoln Memorial series, and many collectors specifically seek it out to complete their sets. The thrill of identifying the small date versus the large date also adds an element of treasure hunting, making this coin especially appealing to both beginners and experienced numismatists. Another factor driving interest is the accessibility of the coin. Unlike extremely rare coins that are locked away in collections or museums, the 1960 D. penny still appears in circulation from time to time. That means there's always a chance, however small, that someone might stumble upon a valuable variety in their everyday change. The copper composition of the coin, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, also gives it that rich reddish tone that collectors love. Coins with original red surfaces are particularly prized, as they indicate minimal exposure to the elements and careful preservation. In the end, the 1960 D. Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can hold extraordinary value. It's not just about the coin itself, but the story behind it, the subtle design differences, and the excitement of discovery that keeps collectors coming back for more. 1980 D. Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. Now let's shift our focus to the 1980 D. Lincoln penny, another coin that might seem common at first, but carries its own unique appeal and potential for value. Minted in Denver during a time of high coin production, the 1980 D. penny features the same Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use for over 2 decades by that point. The late 1970s and early 1980s were a period of economic change in the United States, marked by inflation and rising metal prices. These conditions influenced coin production and eventually led to the transition from copper to zinc-based pennies in 1982. That makes the 1980 D. penny one of the last issues struck primarily from copper, adding a layer of historical significance. With a mintage exceeding 5 billion coins, the 1980 D. penny is undeniably common. It was produced in massive quantities to meet the demands of everyday commerce. However, as with many high mintage coins, rarity emerges not from the total number produced, but from specific conditions, errors, and exceptional preservation. One of the most notable aspects of the 1980 D. penny is the presence of mint errors. These include off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks. Double die errors, in particular, can be quite valuable if they are strong and clearly visible. These errors occur when the coin die is improperly prepared, resulting in a doubling effect on the design elements. Collectors also pay close attention to the quality of the strike and the condition of the coin. While billions were minted, finding a 1980 D. penny in pristine, high-grade condition is much more challenging than you might expect. Coins that have been carefully preserved, with sharp details and original red luster, are significantly more desirable. In terms of market value, most circulated 1980 D. pennies are worth only face value or slightly more due to their copper content. However, uncirculated examples can fetch higher prices, especially those graded MS65 or above. Coins with full red coloration and minimal imperfections can sell for tens of dollars, and in exceptional cases, even higher. Error coins from 1980 D. can command much stronger prices. A well-defined double die or a dramatic off-center strike can turn an otherwise common penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Depending on the severity and visibility of the error, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars. Collector interest in the 1980 D. penny is driven by a combination of factors. For some, it's about completing a Lincoln Memorial Series collection. For others, it's the hunt for errors and high-grade specimens. The coin also appeals to those interested in the transition period leading up to the composition change in 1982. Another interesting aspect is the role of grading services. Coins that have been professionally graded and certified often carry higher values, as collectors have confidence in their authenticity and condition. A top-grade 1980 D. penny in a certified holder can attract serious attention in the market. The design itself, while familiar, continues to resonate with collectors. The Lincoln portrait remains a symbol of American history and heritage, while the memorial reverse captures a significant national landmark. Even in a high-mintage coin like the 1980 D. penny, these design elements contribute to its enduring appeal. Ultimately, the 1980 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that value in coin collecting isn't always obvious. It's hidden in the details, the condition, and the unexpected errors that transform an everyday coin into something special. For collectors, it's not just about the monetary value, but the excitement of discovery and the connection to history that makes each coin unique. And that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, the smallest denominations hold the biggest surprises.